Turul moved with a silent grace, his powerful limbs pulling him upward with a steady rhythm. The stone was cold and unyielding beneath his fingers, the residue from the dungeon, a foul sheen that sought to undermine his grip. He ignored the stench, the slimy texture, and focused on the tactile conversation between his skin and the ancient rock. With each upward maneuver, he was careful to distribute his weight evenly, to avoid the scraping of stone or the splash of disturbed water that might alert the guards. His breathing was controlled, a soft whisper in the vast silence of the shaft, as he measured each breath against the need for quiet. Above him, the anguished screams, echoing from the dungeon, not only steeled the young rebel's resolve, but also camouflaged the sounds of his ascent. He synchronized his movements with the crescendos of pain, ensuring the slight disturbances he made were lost in the cacophony of torture. His silent progress went unnoticed, inching ever closer to the epicenter of suffering he was determined to dismantle. He climbed, muscles flexing with the effort, the tension in his arms a counterpoint to the steady beat of his heart. His progress was slow and methodical, an evidence of patience that belied his burning urgency. Every inch gained was a silent victory, every foothold a step closer to the salvation of his friends. The barred aperture drew nearer, with each of Turul's careful movements. The light from above, filtered through the metal grid, seemed to beckon him, a beacon guiding him through the darkness. He was the shadow moving against shadow, the silent avenger, climbing from the depths of despair to the threshold of hope. The defiant hero reached the darkened corner next to the aperture, his form blending into the shadows once more. He paused, his right hand firmly gripping the wet stone wall with formidable strength. The muscles in his arm bulged with the effort, each tendon and fiber straining to maintain his body's weight against the slippery wall. Slowly, with calculated precision, he extended his left arm, reaching towards the aperture bars. As his hand emerged into the light, it clenched into a resolute fist, a symbol of his readiness to confront what lay beyond. Gently, he probed the bars, their cold, heavy metal, a stark contrast to the warmth of his skin. His keen senses quickly discerned that, despite their sturdy appearance, the bars were unlocked. A glimmer of opportunity shone through in this discovery. A chance to exploit this oversight to his advantage. The fist moved with the swiftness and precision honed by years of battle. As soon as his touch confirmed the bars were unlocked, the seasoned fighter swiftly retracted his arm, pulling his entire body back into the concealing shadows of the dark corner. His movements were a fluid dance of shadows, every muscle and sinew coiled with anticipation. In the hidden alcove, he gathered his strength, his heart racing, not just from the exertion of the climb, but from the expectation of what lay just beyond his reach. This was the moment of truth, the critical juncture, where stealth would give way to action. He would step into the light, a signal of hope and defiance against the darkness. His thoughts centered on his friends, their plight fueling his resolve. Turul understood that time was of the essence, and that each action had to be executed with swift decisiveness. His muscles tensed, prepared for the effort required to spring into action, manipulate the heavy metal, and gain access to the dungeon, while his mind played out the sequence of steps he needed to take. In those quiet moments of preparation, he knew the risks, understood the stakes, and was ready to confront them. The backward, blind jump required a heightened sense of spatial awareness and an instinctual understanding of his body's capabilities. He had to calculate his leap's force, angle, and trajectory without seeing his destination. With the thought,
"Time to fly,"
echoing in his mind like a war cry, the muscular hero coiled the muscles in his legs like springs. Then, with a burst of energy, he propelled himself out of the shadows in a daring arc, with the grace and power of an eagle taking flight. It was a leap of faith, driven by the urgent necessity of his mission and the keen edge of his survival instincts. The position was unnatural and more precarious. Each muscle in his back and shoulders tensed in anticipation. His hands reached out to grasp the cold metal bars of the aperture. Each hand found its mark precisely, latching onto the bars right in the middle. His grip was firm and unyielding, a blend of power and grace, tracing a path defined by instinct and honed skill. The metallic clang of hands against the bars was a sound Turul had anticipated, a necessary alarm in his bold ascent. But what followed was unexpected. A sharp, distinct click, mechanical and precise. The signal sound resonated in the narrow confines of the shaft, echoing off the stone walls. It was a sound he recognized all too well from his encounters and skirmishes.